There he is.
1031. Yeah, I'm not getting your text. No? Huh?
Good morning.
Good morning, Renny. How's it going?
Oh, man. We're pretty dang good.
Well, I got Ed here. He's all set and ready to go.
Good morning, Ed.
Good morning, Renny. I didn't think it's too long to do this. Only about 3 years.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be fun. So I'll just lead into it. So we're going to start out with Chris and I having some small talk.
Yeah.
Chris will do a bio on you, and then I'll read off some personal items about you that I know about you.
Right.
And then we'll go right into it, and we'll just do it interview style from there. How's that?
That works just fine.
Sounds good. All right. Well, give us a couple minutes. I'm going to mute ourselves over on this side, Chris, for a second.
Okay.
If I can. There we go. Okay, we'll see you in a bit.
I don't know. No.
We got to have you back up to Renny shop sometime soon.
Well, I thought about hopping on the Harley and riding up, this week. But it's been hot. The morning's not bad. It's coming home.
Yeah.
And up in the mountains to be gorgeous. That's usually what I do is I cruise up on the bike without telling him to just kind of
Surprise him.
Yeah, surprise him and bomb him in the middle of class. He seems to be okay with that.
It's just got to be the right person.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I think I got the last straight. You get some people all the way. Yeah.
Myself. Okay, we are unmuted. Mm-hmm. This is it. With Ed. Pretty cool one. It's gonna be fun.
I got a picture real how we like when I got over there, it's 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I'm working. I have to put it in my phone over there.
Listen to it in.
Yeah.
So if you guys got a phone, you might want to set it underneath it, because if it starts vibrating, it'll go right through the computer and the audio. So I always put mine under my leg.
Under your leg, huh?
Well, that way when it vibrates.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Chris just sits there and calls me nonstop. He has to see the reaction on my face.
I might have to do that during this one.
Yeah, no. Well, if I get all distracted, it's your fault in a weird way.
Yeah. Information, guys.
There we go. 13 seconds. Good morning, Renny Doyle podcast. Chris, what's up?
Hey, the usual. It's Wednesday. We're doing a podcast again. We missed last week. We were a little crazy busy.
Yeah,
But,
we're going to talk about that a little bit. So we got to ask, watch this, you guys. What's on the shirt?
You want me to look at it?
Well, usually he goes, oh, this.
Oh, this shirt.
A little something I put on, you know.
Well,
yeah,
I wore this one today for Ed because I know he's a Ford and Shelby fan, and so this one is actually it's new. It's the first time I've worn it, but it's got the 3 GT40s from the the 3 winning cars from the 1966 Le Mans. So
that's
a good shirt.
Is that cool or what?
Yep. But
we wore it just for you, Ed.
That's right. But according to the movie, where's it at? I've got to point to it right. This one, the number 1 car, should have been the winner, of course. With oh man, my mind just went blank.
That happens to me.
Ken Miles, there you go. Ken Miles driving it.
Yeah, that is. I watched the movie a second time. It got even more out of it. That was such a great era of cars and guys and none of this wussy stuff, and it just seemed, I don't know. I mean, we got some tough guys now, but that generation, man, they're hardcore. You can imagine doing that and racing that in some of those cars. I mean,
are you getting no roll cages? The Cobras with a little hoop and a bird cage frame. I mean, they crumble like aluminum soda can.
Oh yeah, because it was too much weight if they put anything else in there. They forget about your life and safety. It was too much weight. Well, it was back in the days. Growing up in Southern California, I got the honor of the tail end right before they shut down Riverside. So I got to go out to Riverside and see some races at Riverside. As a boy, and man, that was exciting. Yeah,
my car partner and I, we got invited to go out to Riverside before the last race with NASCAR and run our car with them for a while. That was a kick.
Holy smokes! See, that's what I'm talking about, man. You don't get those opportunities today, and it's just, I don't know. It was raw back then. So. Well, hey, we're going to jump into some business side real quick. So I'm glad that we could see, what shirt. And I'm going to tell you right now, I got a surprise coming for you, Chris. I've got a surprise coming. It's going to come soon, too. Yeah, it's going to come soon, too. So, hey, we want to thank PNS for making this happen, PNS Double Black Products. So we've had we got a 5-day event coming on. So, hey, guys, come on. You got to come back behind. Come here. Get behind me real quick. Just wave to everybody. So we got a 5-day going on right now. So they're all pretty. You got Golly Green, over here. Matt's tall. David's even taller.
But he's doing a really good job of hiding.
He is. Where'd Matt go? There he is. All right. Okay. Sit down. That's enough. So that's it. They're gonna just sit there, just like. So we've been crazy. I started out I've been going nonstop. I mean, it was the Rag Company back in late February, then the East Coast, and then double trainings. We doubled up on trainings 2 months since then. We're recently up in Idaho with Sydney, for her event up at her shop in her neighborhood. Southern Utah, we had a 1-day extreme training this last weekend with Jason Rose. Which was really fun with Rupes being here. We've had 3 legend skills verification events, which were really fun. We're going to expand on those. And then new training center for PNS. And just recently, Air Force One's going to happen in a smaller level. So we've been busy.
And not just Air Force One. We got to go to Monterey this summer too.
Yeah. So we did the Squad 51 from the show Emergency, so we'll have a video coming out on that one. It was a lot of fun, but so it's been crazy. So, hey, Chris, you want to do read off the little bio about Ed? I mean, it's pretty impressive.
Well, I could definitely do that. Ed sent me over a lot of cool stuff, and this certainly doesn't do him justice because, I shortened it up quite a bit. But is it inappropriate to call this guy a legend in the industry?
No, I think it's very. I mean, he's we got induced as a in the Hall of Fame together, which blows me away that I'd be in the same class as a dude like this. Not worthy comes to mind.
Ways.
Yeah.
Well, Ed has been he's been a member of the IDA. Actually, he's a founding member of the IDA since its inception. And he's definitely been a passionate promoter of the industry. I don't know, Ed, what has it been since the 60s?
Well, yes and no. Yeah,
yes and no.
Detailing, wash and waxing cars, in high school before it was called detailing.
Yeah.
But the real deal didn't start till '88 when I offered the class through the College for Continuing Education.
Gotcha. Well, my notes say that you began professional detailing in the 70s. You taught detailing at Buena Park High School.
Yeah, I didn't start that till about '92, I think it was.
Did you?
The principal found out what I was doing through the college and said, "Why aren't we doing it at school?" I gave her 5 reasons why, and she said, "I can fix that."
Wow. Well, fast forward just a tiny bit, and right around 2000, you began, or maybe it was 98, you said, but teaching at Cypress College, and the key takeaway here is lots and lots of detailing education. But and then this past year or 2020, like Renny was mentioning, he was inducted into the IDA Hall of Fame, and so. It sounds like you have roughly about 50 years of teaching under your belt.
Yeah, just a little bit over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So there you go.
Impressive. Well, let me go into some personal items on Ed. This dude, I haven't seen him water ski, but I've seen a lot of photos and I've heard a lot of stories. And the dude can water ski, still hardcore. Now I can attest, the dude can snow ski because we've skied together. So he's an excellent skier. The guy is car crazy, but more so is he's got a huge heart. Is that if you're around him, I think that the detailing skills that Ed can teach you are amazing, but the life skills and the people skills that Ed is constantly a great example of are mind-blowing. He's just really into people, but here he is, this Renaissance man, this person that's 360 degrees, that's hardcore, yet he's got a soft heart for people. And so one of the greatest honors that will ever go down in my career was being inducted in the Hall of Fame with Ed. It was a great time. And looking across the stage that night, it was hard to believe I was actually there. And somebody I really am proud to call a friend. So Ed, welcome.
Thank you.
We want to hear from your own words. Why detailing? What the heck? What took you that direction? I have a feeling I know the answer, but I want to hear from you.
Well, again, I always tell this story. The first paying customer that I had outside of my parents, who didn't pay me, but on Saturdays I'd wash and wax cars with my dad, as needed. But anyway, I was in high school, and a friend's father asked me to Simonize his Lincoln. A 1964 or 65 battleship, So I pulled it in under the shade tree in the backyard, Simonized that sucker by hand. Excuse me. And, the young people don't know what Simonize is. Tough stuff, hard to put on, hard to take off. But anyway, I did it, took it back. He was happy. 6 months later, he asked me to do it again, and being, very intelligent, which I thought I was. I thought, I'm not using Simonize. I'm going to use what we use, a little turtle wax. So I did the car in half the time. Took it back to him, later on. A week later, thereabouts, I'm up at the house visiting his daughter, who's just a friend from school. And he says, "So Ed, what'd you use on my car last week? And proudly I said, oh, I used turtle wax. He looked me dead in the eye and said, I don't pay you $10 to turtle wax my car. That's the last time.
Oh, dang.
Last time. Great learning experience. And then, in college, my senior year, I took a paint and body class, discovered I could spray paint and make it flow without running. And so when I started teaching in 71, teaching industrial arts, in my plastics program, we did a ton of Baja kits. And all my students wanted them painted. So I started painting them and helping them, half a dozen. And I realized I ain't doing this for free anymore. So my painting business kind of took off. Along with that, detailing became a must. Because you make a mess out of a car getting them ready for paint. And then car shows, Mustang Club, the Cobra Club, this and that, so forth. And then, it was just a sideline hobby. And then in 88, my auto maintenance program was dying at night. And I know Renny's heard this story before, but some kid in a mini truck drove by with, bucket, sponge, hose, and his name on the side of the door said mobile detailing, which I'd never heard of prior to that. And I thought, wow, that's a great idea for my night class, I think. Excuse me. So I called my college advisor and told him, he said, write it up. The following January, it started. That was 1988 and ran continuously up until, it's still running continuously. I had one semester off when I had cancer, and Jason Rose took that semester over for me. And now that I've resigned again or retired again, Prentice St. Clair is in line to pick it up for at least one semester, maybe longer. So the programs are going to continue, which
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But, early 90s, we started the Southern California Professional Detail Association. Basically, some students kept hanging around after class talking, and jokingly I said, you guys need a club. And on the way home, that's when I do my best thinking. I thought, no, we need an organization. And about the same time, Bud Abraham calls me and says, hey, I'm having a convention in Long Beach, blah, blah, blah. You really need to come. So I showed up, and thank you. I showed up, and actually Bud and I butted heads a little bit in the beginning. He wanted me to drop our idea and go with him gun ho, but we were meeting once a month for dinner with 30 to 40 people and some big players, from, I guess you'd say, outside the industry, but involved with the industry. Ron Ketchum was one with Finish Care at that time. And of course, we had some representation from McGuire's and others. And I told Bud, I said, I'm not letting this go. It's working. I said, if we join you, and I said, I'm not opposed to joining you, but what's going to happen? But over the years, Bud and I got back on the same page. Good guy. I told him, back in 2020, I said, you're the godfather of detailing, and I'm the grandfather.
I think a lot of us butted heads with Bud back in the day. He's a pretty powerful guy still. Yeah. And Ron Ketchum is another guy. If you guys want to do some research on the shoulders that you're standing on, go back and look at that guy's knowledge base. He's got a 25-pound brain, and he's pretty smart guy.
Yeah, he's still using it, still out there, on Facebook helping out.
Yep. Yeah, he's a smart guy. And so take us through. So education was a big part of it. Organization's a big part of it. Hold on one second. Hey guys, we're live. Thanks. Sorry, we just had somebody walk in.
Tell the dog to be quiet, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Yep, they're going nuts. So let's talk about education for a second. Back in the 80s. So here's a funny thing. When you guys were having those dinners, I was actually out of the detailing. I'd sold my detailing company in 80. Oh, shoot. I think I want to say it was like 80, 86 or 87. I got into the window tinting industry. And you guys were having those meetings, and I actually was down in Orange County and somehow had heard about it and went to one, even though I wasn't in the industry anymore. And it was pretty cool. You know, I don't remember all the people that were there, but it was the first time I'd seen any organization like in the automotive industry, like kind of come together, you know? And I just remember being really impressed and wanting to do that with the window tinters. And it just didn't happen. You know, it just wasn't happening. So let's talk the IDA. Let's talk about, you know, what, you know, you saw value in industry organizations way back in the day.
Right.
What's the IDA bring to the table from your viewpoint?
Well, they've been able to do what all the other ones, you know, fell short of, and that's, you know, really create an association that is international, brings people together. Now we're offering certifications and training and, you know, the ability to network. And of course, you know, what we're doing now is, you know, that didn't exist back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. So, you know,
we didn't have any source. The only source that we had for known, what I call known knowledge, was when you got a chance to meet another professional and you could ascertain that they knew what they're doing.
And if they knew what they're talking about. If they would talk to you.
If they would talk to you. And
you know,
most of the time they wouldn't.
Yeah. Everybody had a secret. When I started my class in 88, I had 3 or 4 detailers that had been in the industry for 10 to 20 years. I was a little intimidated till about the 3rd week. I realized they were doing it, but they didn't know anything about it. They were just doing it. You know, it's kind of crazy. And
you know,
it stayed with me for several semesters, which really helped the program.
You know, and I think, you know, the IDA came in and they stabilized and franchised an SOP for detailing. Yeah. You know. Yeah. And I think it's so important because, you know, we still see people fractionalized in knowledge and abilities and know-how and how they go about doing things. It's still fractionalized. If you could imagine going back 10, 20, 30 years ago, there was no standardization. And to a great degree, that's why we were known as a gypsy industry, is because nobody had brought in common sense and common practices into play. And I think the IDA, and definitely, you know, you're one of the motivating members of the IDA. You, Bob Phillips, Prentice Keith, are all reasons that I put my push on with the IDA, because I saw what all of you guys were doing. I know I'm leaving names out. Greg Sweat. I mean, there's a lot of people I'm leaving names out of. Yeah. But you guys, all that original crew, I'd say there's probably 10 or 12 of you that just kept pushing. No matter what, you guys kept pushing, because you saw more than anybody what needed to happen for the industry, and so many of us owe you guys a thank you, because it really has bettered the industry, you know. And so many people come out and they say, well, you know, why should I join the IDA? What would be your answer? I want to hear this.
Well, I don't have a pat answer for it, but you know, I look at it this way. If you're a doctor, you're certified and you belong to an association. The carpet cleaning industry has an association. Most people don't know that. It's huge. And I first learned about that back in 88, 89. One of their members took my class. He came in with a 3-inch thick notebook on carpet cleaning. You know,
it's
mechanics. Mechanics, you know, they're ASC certified. Most of them belong to some type of association. If you're a professional, I just always thought you need to be part of an association. And that being said, for what it costs to be a member of IDA, break it down to, you know, pennies a day. You know, was $115 a year. You get some
pennies a day.
Yeah, you get some notoriety, you get some advertisement. I've had people say, well, you know, I've never had a customer ask me if I was a member. Well, yeah, because they don't know about it yet. You know,
No, you're not marketing that you're certified.
right?
You start marketing.
It will.
You start marketing that you're certified, and watch what happens. We created a certification course in our company just for the fact that I could say all our detailers are certified. This was way before any of these organizations. You know, we had all of them pop up, but nothing was sticking. There was no glue to it. And so I'm telling you, you start marketing that you got. First off, a lot of people don't do this. Who says you're good? You know, who's that? You might be your customers. I hate to say it, and I'm probably going to get slammed for this, but most customers don't know a good detail.
That's right.
You know, they get bad details all the time. And so why not go out and get it? And I'm not saying that you're bad, but why not have somebody else say that you're good, you know, other than you? And I think it's an important part a lot of people don't think about.
I've got the perfect example. You know, we detailed staff cars at the high school. You know, one semester a year, I offered the detailing program for one period a day. I had one teacher brought her car in. It was thrashed. And day one, all they do is wash and vacuum. You know, you got 40 minutes of work time. And she picked up the car in the afternoon, obviously. The next day, the student went to get the keys for the car. And she said, "Oh, I thought it was all done." She says, "It's never looked so good." And he says, "Well, all we did was wash it. We still need to wax it and polish it." So anyway, it came back and we did it. But, you know, typical. Didn't take care of the car. All of a sudden, it was just clean, and she thought it had been detailed.
No, isn't that true? And so, you know, you've watched your first, when you got involved in the IDA, and you went to your first little meeting with the IDA, how many people were there?
Well, you know, my first meeting with a group of people per se was at SEMA, and you know, we're sitting around a table, and I looked over at Claude Harris, and I said, "Claude, could you imagine us doing this back in the day?" And he laughed, and there was a young guy there. He said, kind of sarcastically, I think, but he meant well. He kind of looked at us. He said, "Well, you guys didn't have the internet then."
Very true.
Exactly, for good or bad. You know, university
right.
YouTube's not always the best way to go, but
yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of YouTube certified detailers out there.
There's some good stuff coming out finally. Yeah,
there is. There's some real bad stuff too.
Yeah,
you know, there's. And it amazes me that some of these yahoos have the nerve to say what they say, you know, and I'm like, oh my God, who ties your boots in the morning? You know, I mean, it's like, really, where the hell did you come from? You know?
Back on the IDA, I've got two, I don't want to call them beefs, I'll call them concerns. One, people sign up, join, they get certified, and then they don't rejoin. I think that's a terrible way to go about it. You know, and they don't take down their badging. They don't take it off their truck, you know, sticker off the truck or whatever. You know, if you're going to join and get certified, stay with it and support it and help it grow. You know, I have guys go, "Well, when are they going to offer insurance?" I go, "When we get 100,000 members."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you and I, we watched ASE grow, you know, both of us in our times. And I remember walking in the shop the first time and I saw an ASE certification. And I asked the shop, "Well, what is that?" So he explained it to me. And I was a very, very young driver at the time. And I remember that was a big deal to me. It stuck with me. So I'd go and talk to a shop and I'd ask him, "Hey, so are you an ASE?" And I walked out of a couple shops and didn't have repairs done back in the day. Well, you know, I've never thought of that, Ed. And that's a great point. Basically, when people do that, you're a fraud. You know, you're playing wannabe, and you know, and you're probably the same, you know, person that's saying, "Oh, I'm successful." You know, so many people for the IDA, they say, "You know, what's it going to do for me?" Here's the deal, man. This is where you eat. This is where you make your living. This is where you take and feed your family. This is where you feed your. You know, a lot of things come out of the IDA and the industry. And you might say, "Well, the IDA doesn't affect my life at all." That's because you're not putting anything into it. is if you don't put anything into something, you're not going to get anything out. And so, I'm going to speak totally to the Latino population right now. We need representation at the highest levels within the IDA. I mean, the highest levels. And we need you to get involved in this group and help us out.
Yeah, I chuckled. Dave Silicon just came up and said, we asked about insurance back in the days of SCPDA, which is true. David is one of the original members of the Southern California Professional Detail Association. He and Derek Bemis and I.
Another guy that's been around for a long time in the trench warfares and has forgot more than what people know. So, Hey, let's take a couple a break. So we want to share something with you guys real quick. So today's takeaway moment, we're going to ask you some hard questions here in a second, Ed, and I can't wait to see it. Hey, Gary, where you at? Gary, get over here. So Gary's actually with us. So this is a knee grip, guys. We've been using these. Gary introduced this to me. He happens to be here showing the class some new products. These things, I've got what's called dirty knee syndrome with detailers. This is Gary, the owner of the company, designer of these things. This thing, he's got a wide range of tools. You're going to see a lot of pictures popping up this week of all of our class using it. A lot of detailers have what's called dirty knee syndrome. Is they get down, they put their knees down on the ground, and then I would never hire you to come in and do a job again because you don't want to be dirty. You want to look like a dentist, not a detailer. So not only do knee grips and all of his products, stools and everything else keep you from getting dirty, but also impact and damage to the knee, and they make you look professional. And so we wanted to take and introduce Gary and have him say hi. Say hi. You got it. So,
and it's not just the knee grips. He's got the shop rat mats.
Yeah.
A wide variety of cool stuff like that. And just in case people want to go and find it, just Google knee grip, but I believe it's kneegrip.com is the website.
Yep. There you go. And so go in and check it out, you guys. Dave Silicon has been involved with this for a long, long time. He's a big fan of it also. Now, before I ask you some cool questions, Ed, and I want to tell you, did you know my very, very first, you were talking about Bajas. Everybody's Baja on their bugs, right? Yeah. My first car was a Baja bug. Yeah. 1982. Yeah. I bought it in 1982. It was in 1966. And I'll tell you a funny story. I'd only driven a stick a couple times. So I got it late in the afternoon, real early evening. I got it home. I was a little scared to take it out at nighttime because I wanted to, make sure I could drive it right. So the next day I drove it all around our neighborhood, got good, decided to get it out onto the 10 freeway, come around, do a loop onto the 215, and then come back home. So I get it on the freeway, I'm going, and I just got onto the 215 freeway, and all of a sudden power cuts off, and I do this. And I was like, what the hell? So back then there wasn't a lot of traffic. So I limped its way over to the side of the road, got out of my car, and I look out the freeway, and there's a big battery sitting there. Well, the pan had rotted out. I didn't know any better. To hit the pan, the battery fell through the pan. I ran it over. So I ran out in the traffic. I got the battery out. I walked up and down the side of the freeway. I found a board. I put a board in where the battery goes to keep the battery from falling out. And I had to keep it there. I bought the car in July. We didn't go back to school until September. So I rigged the board up a little better. And then in September, our metal shop, we did a project on my Baja, and we put a whole new custom pan into it, cut it all out, and put a custom pan in. But there's my story on my Baja. And
I've got a 66 Baja bug too. Mine's still got its floor pan though.
Yeah, you really deep down we know you want to be me, so it's okay.
I beat you guys in 1966. I imported a brand new Volkswagen.
Did you really?
For $1,453 or $56. I kept it just over a year. I hated it. No power, couldn't get out of its way.
Oh, yeah, no, it's a little 1600 motor.
Yeah. Well, 1300 then.
Oh, yeah, to 1300.
Yeah.
So I'd upgraded mine to a 1600. Yeah. So funny, my cousin bought one. His dad did pretty well, and they bought one. Somebody was in some money, I think, with my cousin, with my uncle. He ended up getting this Baja bug and trade instead of the money. So my cousin comes driving over, and he's got this thing, and I hear it coming around the corner. As soon as I soon as I hear it, I know what's going on. I go out there. My cousin's it's got an 1835 on it in it with a tri-mill exhaust. And I told my cousin, this thing will pop wheelies because it had one of the one-piece front ends, and literally you could pull the front wheels off the ground because there's just no weight to the thing. So he ended up putting he ended up building it out and put a 2180 in it. And he literally would pull wheelies. I thought he was going to flip the car.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought he was going to flip the car. That Baja, and oh man, I was so jealous. So I wanted to hit him over.
Ed, I know you're a Ford guy. What do you have that you cruise around in these days?
Oh yeah,
I've got a car partner. We hooked up back in 80. And let's see, when was it? 78, 80, right in that time period. A long story how we met. But anyway, Steve and I started flipping cars in order to build our first race car, which to happen, we went to Willow Springs with my Mach 1. And on the way home, I said, I'm not doing that again, but this was a ton of fun. He says, I got a 66 in the backyard. Let's build it. So in 6 months, we had it track ready. And then, over the years, we've bought, fixed, sold to help pay for our racing habit. And over that time, jointly, we built a GT350 clone, one of the early ones. I think we finished that car in about 85, 87. I hate to tell this story, but in 92, we started acquiring parts from High Tech Cobra out of Phoenix, Arizona, with intentions of building this Cobra 100% correct. But the race car kept getting in the way, and my buddy has a habit of getting other projects. So he had a Harley project, and everything that takes a week takes 3 months with him. And he got a Bronco, and that turned into a project. And the Cobra kept getting put back. In 2009, I guess it was, he looked at me and said, are we ever going to finish this car? I said, where do you get we? I'm retired, and you're still working. And long story short, we came up with a financial agreement. So I finished building the car, which at that time was 10% done.
Wow.
So he did build the motor, the transmission, and the independent rear end, but I did all the body fab, all the aluminum, except for the hoods and doors, which we had a coach maker build those. I've got my Jeep Cherokee, which Renny has seen, which is pretty scary. Cut and polish paint job on it. People go, do you ever take it off road? And I just go, look underneath. It's filthy. Remember, Jason.
Hey, so Ed, do you have any kids that really like that truck?
No, I have one child, my daughter, and my grandkids aren't quite there. You do, yeah. And so anyway,
I'm just saying, man, if it hasn't already been promised to somebody else, I want first rights, because that truck is just thing is. What's that?
Oh, I was gonna say, I saw the Cobra recently at Claude's IDA event, and that thing was pretty hot.
Well, it's way hot, but that's more in with your pocketbook. I got to go for the Jeep.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, when you talk about way hot, yeah, they are on the inside. You cook sometimes.
Oh yeah.
My throttle gets so hot, I don't know where to put it.
Let me ask you a question. This is, we didn't go over this at all, but how important is it? I see detailers that come in that love cars, and I see detailers that come in that don't know a thing about cars. I personally think that I think the people that are really passionate about automobiles do a little better in the industry, because I think the customers can feel and see and taste your passion. What would be your take on that?
Yeah, you're exactly right. And, I go back, as Barry McGuire is a personal friend.
Mm-hmm.
Years ago, he mentioned the word passion, and I've continued that on through all my education. If you don't have a passion for what you're doing, get out of it, because it's hard work. You got to be passionate about it. In the body shop industry, they don't want people passionate about cars because they take too long to get it done.
Yeah.
So detailers in a body shop, are volume. And it's hard to be passionate when you're trying to get perfection, but you only have an hour and a half to do it. You know?
Yeah, that's true. So, hey,
yeah.
looking down into your crystal ball, where's the detailing industry headed? Where are we going?
I think we're still growing. I think we're still in our infancy as an industry. Somehow we need to get the public more aware of what it is. And I think one of the other things that's helping us too is, this younger generation doesn't want to do anything for themselves. They'd rather pay somebody to do it and have it done, instant gratification kind of thing. So that might be good for us. My fear, my concern, I'm going to touch politically a little bit, but in the political environment we're in right now and in California, if you're detailing, I hope you're saving some money, because if things get more and more expensive, who's going to have 350, 500, 1,800 for coatings to spend on their car? So, right now, the industry is in a good place. A lot of guys are making good money. I just pray and hope that they're banking it, and looking forward to when things aren't quite so good, because
Amen. We were just talking about that.
We have a downfall and we'll have a recovery, but I hope I'm wrong. I just heard news today that the California has got the best economy in the whole nation by far. I don't know if I believe that, but that's what the news guy was saying.
Yeah, no. Let me tell you, lifetime, generational Californian. Lived out of the state for a while. My fear is we got a whole generation of professional detailers that have never seen any kind of economic slowdown. Never.
Yeah.
We've had it really lucky the last damn near for a decade. I mean, it's been on the upturn. It's been on the upturn for a decade. I've never seen it go this long. Detailing's become popular, but like you said, we're going to start competing with dollars, other dollars, not just detailing dollars, but other dollars. And I'm with you. I see these guys starting these big shops up, with massive overhead. And it just worries me of what we're going to see, the fallout when it does, the economy. And I'll share this politically. You're an entrepreneur, you're self-employed. You better start voting like an entrepreneur, because if you don't start voting entrepreneur habits, we're going to be in big trouble as small businesses. And I don't care what side of the aisle you're from. You're a big boy or girl. You better make that decision. But if you're self-employed, better start thinking like you're self-employed, like an entrepreneur, because shit's going to catch up to us.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
One of the things I've always told people and taught my classes, very few people are born an entrepreneur. So you better take some business classes. At least business 101, at the least.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some basics. And a finance class would be great as well.
Amen.
Learn
how to learn what a P&L is. What's a profit and loss statement?
Right.
Most entrepreneurs, I'm not going to pick on detailers. Most entrepreneurs don't look at their P&L. They don't look at their finance. I look at mine five days a week, at least. And so, you just nailed it. So, hey, one great piece of advice, either that you've come up with on your own or a piece that you were given at some point during your lifetime. What's that piece of advice that you'd like to share with the others listening?
I knew you were going to ask that question, and I thought about it all night long, and it's hard to come up with one.
Right.
And if I had to say one, I just sort of alluded to it, but education, training, you don't have to go to college. You don't have to take a course that's set up for it, but you've got to take advantage of every little one-day event that you can do, whether it's free or whether you pay for it. You and I talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Now that I'm, quote, retired, I'm thinking about offering training by the hour. Not everybody can afford your 5-day class.
Absolutely.
Not everybody wants a 5-day class. I had a guy call and wanted to learn how to do headlights. And the problem I find, and it may be the wall that I'll run up against, the guys that need it the most don't have any money or don't want to spend the money. They want everything for free. I had a guy go off on me on Facebook one day because I jokingly, he didn't see it as a joke, and I realized why. I should put LOL afterwards. But I said, I'd be glad to help you for a fee. Oh man, I had 20 lashings from different people about, I thought this site was supposed to be for free information and blah, blah, blah. So,
what I love to tell those kind of people? Come on over. I've got a whole neighborhood full of cars of all my neighbors. Come on over and start working for free every day and see how long that lasts.
Yeah.
Just because they're used to being gypsies, doesn't mean that you are. You've got a home that you live in. You've got investments, cars, a life, kids, all that.
So I know it'd be nice if you had one great magical answer for that. But like I said, there's a lot of little ones, but I think the most important one is continue to educate yourself. And don't totally count on the YouTube deal, although there are some good sites out there. So that's
I love it
on it. So I'm available.
Hey, so
really.
let's go ahead and how can you're fun to connect with. So how can people connect with you on social media?
Well, I'm probably going to lose my Facebook page through the college. I'm not sure what's going to happen there, but I'm on Facebook. Actually, I won't. I'm on Facebook as Ed Terwilliger, and then it says AKA Professor Detail. I have another Facebook page, which is my family one, and I prefer detailers stay on just mine where it says Ed Terwilliger. And then if anybody's taking notes out there, my phone number is 714-504-1557. I probably won't answer, so leave a message and I'll get back to you. As you know, we get so many calls. If I don't recognize the number, I don't call it back. If they don't leave a message, I don't call back. But those are two ways of, getting to me. Actually, with Facebook, do the private messenger.
Cool. Right on. Well, hey, we want to again thank you for coming in, buddy. And it's always good to talk to you and hear your story. I think people's stories are so amazing, and we can learn so much from them. We want to take and again thank PNS and Negrip for making this one happen this week. Make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to share this within the different detailing forums and so forth. Ed's a great guy. And my leave out this week is going to be simple: is be very careful on who you allow into your brain. Be very careful who you open your ears up for knowledge and input, as there's a lot of tribal information out there right now. Ed's a wealth of solid information and good information. Make sure that you're taking and allowing the right people to fill your brain up with the right information, and that you're not taking misinformation and using it in your business because it could really cost you. So with that, Ed, thanks for coming in, man. It's always a pleasure. Get your butt up here. I'd love to see you ride the bike up. It's got to be warm. What's the temperature going to be down by you today?
Probably in the 90s. Right now, coming up to see you, it's not too bad because I'd leave in the morning, but coming home in the afternoon through Redlands and San Bernardino on a motorcycle, that's torture for an hour.
Oh, it's horrible. And it's just getting worse. We were just talking about that. So,
you could drive that Jeep up to Renny, though.
Yeah, there you go. He does that during the wintertime.
That too. I don't want him drooling all over. I have to wipe it off afterwards.
That's exactly it. Grand Theft Auto, the next time he has it up here, he's going to be carless because I'm going to steal it. So, all right, guys. Well, hey, thanks a lot. Again, thanks for tuning in. Ed, thanks for coming in. We'll see you next time, guys. Take care. We'll see you later.